Welcome back, people. It's Kevin here, and I'm going to be doing my first reaction of Mac Miller's Circles album. When it came out, I believe in 2020, my listening ear was not, not on. I was too busy thinking about other things, as most of us were because of the pandemic. But it was always an album that I actually wanted to listen to. The major reason being because John Bryan has worked on it, and John Bryan, probably one of my favorite producer. A lot of stuff that he's done with Fiona Apple that I need to actually listen to, but more importantly because of Late Registration with Kanye West and the beautiful orchestration. Absolutely astonishing. The keys, like the way John Bryan's work layered those sort of soul samples that Kanye, chopped up, and also all of the producers that worked on the album. He enriched the album so much. Another reason why I want to listen to this tape is also because of Mac Miller. Looking at his career, in the beginning he was this rapper that was sort of like laughed off, because he was just making this like popular sort of rap music at that particular point of time. He made this popular record that completely sort of forgotten. It was getting completely panned by the critic, but then he turned it around, I think a couple of years after, and started to release, really meaningful and very good music, and collaborating with many respected artists as well. And Circles is one of those apparently good albums, and I'm super excited to listen to it. And so this is my first reaction of Mac Miller's Circles album. Hey, the first record is called Circles, the title track of the album. I think that's what it said. But anyway, let's see.
Trust me, I've tried. I'd stand up right at the start of the line, drawing circles.
Wow. Interesting. I liked it. Contemplative record, isn't it, with the lyrics and what Mac Miller is referring to, talk to. And I believe a lot of it has to do sort of with his mental health, really. I'm not exactly trying to zero into that, and it's interesting lines about, he's trying to sort of change. I've tried to change, and no, you can't change, and taking it one day at a time as well. And, sort of things sort of going in a circle, arriving back to where you sort of started, it's interesting, very contemplative. I love the instrumentation as well, of course. It's just, it allows for the words that he's saying to, to take center stage. And it's a great record. I like Circles. Fantastic. Next song is Complicated. So already a change in tone. Much funkier with those synth keys.
Outside is cloudy, but I like that better. Behind no wheel, but still ain't on my way. Gotta be so complicated. When I'm way too young to be getting old.
Okay.
It always gotta be so complicated.
Wow. Interesting. Definitely a tempo change, and also a sonic change from the first record. This is of course much more funkier, much more groovier, but the themes of the first record, from the first record, still persist. There's things got to be complicated, fam. I'm too young to be getting old. And I mean, it's I mean, if you're looking at the album cover, it's just references, probably him, not being present, fam. Probably because of, I don't know, the sort of, the depression, the issues that he was struggling with, and also, addiction and all those stuff as well, and complicated that sort of tie into all of that. And it's just, although it's extremely sort of groovy and so funky. It's also so poignant in a way, you know, these things got to be so complicated. I'm too young to be old as well. So yeah, I mean, absolutely loved it. I think it's a great record as well. The lyrics are very good as well. Again, ties into the whole album themes as well. Also when they went to the little down tempo part as well, I didn't quite catch what he's referring to, but already 2 records in and I'm really liking it. For my first proper full Mac Miller album that I've like listened to, I think this sounds very good. The next record is track number 3 and it's Blue World. Let's see how that sounds like.
Don't gotta let it in, don't trip. Yeah. I let it go, but I never go with it. Age will not get by.
Okay.
Don't be afraid, don't fall. I think I lost my mind. Reality so hard to find. When the devil trying to call your line, shit I always shine. In this mad world it made me crazy. Might just turn around to 180. I ain't politics.
That's lovely, man. Lovely. It's interesting line. He says he's not politicking, he's not out here kissing babies. And I think we've all sort of seen, you know, pictures or videos of politics, you know, when they're on a rally or not even on a rally, when they like got, you know, when they're greeting the crowd and then end up kissing the babies or one baby. Oh God, that's absolutely hilarious. But yeah, love it. Love the, you know, the funk, the groove, you know, the tempo is just amazing. And as well, and the sort of, is that like a vocal chop? Brilliant vocal chop as well, if we can call it that. And yeah, it just sounds brilliant. And again, the lyrics, I mean, for such an up-tempo record, what he's saying is kind of it is very sad, you know. It is very sad. And the next record, track 4, Good News, that is a record that I definitely heard, and that definitely was one of my favorites. And that arguably is one of the most absolutely saddest song recorded. I mean, for understanding, you know, understanding people that have gone through depression, and I've also suffered from it, you know, in my life or certain points in my life, you know, especially when things are not going your way and can go very bad. I reckon like Good News is just gut-wrenching stuff. It's absolutely gut-wrenching stuff as well. And it's commendable that Mac Miller, I mean, throughout his first 3-4 records that I've heard, that he has this sort of level of sort of, you know, strength to make that type of music, you know. And yeah, next record is Good News. It'll be nice to sort of listen to it again because I haven't heard it for a couple of months or so. But yeah, it definitely was one of my favorite of 2020. But yeah, Good News. Next song.
I'm always too busy dreaming. Maybe I should wake up instead. You need to sell them. Got the cards in my hand, I hate them. Yeah. And everything I need too much, no more. There's a problem with a closed door.
I think every time I sort of listen to the record, it begins just the way it sort of began just now. You know, just up tempo, upbeat, and then the more I end up listening to the lyrics, by the end of the record, I'm just quiet. And I mean, first of all, if we talk about it from a lyrical and a production standpoint, it's phenomenal. Again, it does, the theme persists, but with this record, it's even more. It's just, music is incredibly sad. I mean, it's in the chorus. I mean, Good News is all they want to hear. They don't want to hear really about what I'm suffering from, or how my day is going, or how badly I feel. No, what they want to hear is good news. And I'm so tired of being tired. It's just, yeah, like I said, from a technical standpoint, from a lyrical standpoint of view, it is phenomenal. It is, but from a from what's the best word that I can put it? I mean, the honesty is unbelievable. Yeah, it's a phenomenal song. It's absolutely a phenomenal song. It is a phenomenal song, and it's an incredibly sad song, considering also what happened. But even not taking into account the unfortunate thing that happened to him, it's just, it's a phenomenal song. I mean, it's sad, incredibly sad. Song is "I Can See," number 5 of the album. Let's see how that sounds like.
The man on the moon keep playing practical jokes, planet of mirrors and smoke that I fade away in. You be complaining, and I can't explain why the dreaming so are we. Show me something, show me something. It keep you on your toes. You got so far to go, but look at where you came from.
Okay, so that was track number 5. I Can See. My least favorite so far. Reminds me of those Tyler the Creator's albums that we was doing back in 2012. I can't remember the exact name really. It's still sonically obviously still follows with the album as well, and I think lyrically as well, but I just didn't quite like the I mean the chorus, or sorry, the vocals and the verses and the way it was sort of mixed in with that sort of, I don't know, arpeggiating trumpet, maybe, if that's the best way I can describe it. It sounds a little bit naff for me. It's not a bad record, but yeah, but nothing to be, you know, completely thrown up on and be like, throw this away. No. The next record is number 6. It's called Everybody. Let's see how this sounds.
I think you know the reason why. And everybody's gonna die. I'm gonna die. And he couldn't hardly tie his shoes. My money couldn't get to.
Okay, so that was track number 6 called Everybody. Interesting record. I do like some of the instrumentation. It's a lot, some of these singers is not so audible, you can't really hear it. So it makes it kind of hard to sort of tie in exactly what he's saying in the verses as well. I think the chorus is very strong. I do like the choruses. It also ties into the extensionism that does run through some of the, you know, songs that we've heard so far. But in terms of the verses, I don't think it was much very substantial that was, you know, that was said in it. And yeah, I mean, again, this is just the first listen, so sometimes this requires more of a listen to actually get the full nuance of what he's saying. But yeah, I mean, another thing also what I like so far, what I heard, is this nice infusion between, you know, rock in it, you know, like I think it's like alternative rock. It's very nice to hear him go from alternative rock to, let's say, to like the hip hop that sort of Tyler the Creator sort of was just, you know, great at. Yeah, because he was the one that was prominent doing that sound, probably like Pharrell and loads of other people as well. But there's a nice infusion between funk, you know, hip hop, rock as well. I love it. I love it. It's just nice to hear those varieties and the differences, and the, you know, that brings a different sort of richness rather than hearing, you know, the same sound continuously running through the album. So yeah, next record is Woods, and this is track number 7. Interesting title name, Woods. Let's see what the track is about and how it sounds.
Let me know when you're leaving, where you go. Can I come? Do you believe me? Are you close? Can I Put it together, then it breaks. All the energy you take, you never stop.
Track number 7 called Woods. Interesting. I mean, it has a brilliant, I like the funky bass line as well. That's just, you know, on the track as well. And it's interesting that it's got like guitars mixed in with the funky bass line. And that was a nice little surprise, you know, and it's quite interesting that they kind of go together. But I just felt like there was little naff moments, I think, in terms of the rapping and the verses again, wasn't quite so audible, and it was quite hard to make out what he was really sort of saying on the record as well. And yeah, it was a bit of a hit and miss, this record, but again, it had some really nice stuff that I really like about it, you know. The ending wasn't too sort of bad as well. And yeah, sonically, I mean, there's been obviously funk sonics that's been, you know, that some records have had. So it definitely does sound like it's all tying in together. But yeah, this is obviously a big change in terms of subject matter, talking about, you know, love and heartbreak. And yeah, this is probably the first potential. This is probably someone that he's just meeting and, you know, told them, you know, what he's all about, and then there seems to be some sort of disagreement. I think that's the first thing that I sort of was able to sort of suss out. And yeah, but I didn't quite get the reference between the lyrics and the woods. So maybe there is when I listen to it more. But yeah, that was number 7. Next record is number 8, I believe, and it's called Hand Me Downs. Oh, the lyric, sorry, the title track is quite obvious, but let's see what reference the Hand Me Downs is getting used in.
I'm thinking maybe I should thank you. Oh, baby, I should buy you another round. Cause you care and I swear that I'm here, but I'm there. It's getting harder to hunt me down. You get used to the bullshit, screws they go missing. It's likely they might be, but you did well or a great design. Hey, you, despite being only too efficient, but the way it's always been until the day we have to meet again. Get away when it ain't, when it's safe, and it.
Okay, so that was track number 8, Hand Me Downs, and one big different feature of this track is that the fact that there is another guest vocalist on the record. And I think listening to other records on the song, it was only Mac Miller, and now we've got another person. It was quite actually nice as well, and I love their rapping as well. I think that was for Mac Miller as well. Brilliant flow, very nice flow as well. Got nice production as well. I do like it. And I feel like the verses and the lyrics are obviously very much tying together. I didn't quite suss out, but again, this time it wasn't because it was unaudible. I just didn't quite understand. So it's more on me really. I probably would like to dwell in to see much more what he was talking about in terms of hand-me-downs and the reference that he was making. But it sounded great. I love the tempo, and I love the tempo, and I love the production on it as well. It sounded like a good song. I like it. Next record is number 9. That's On Me.
One move is on me, I'm bouncing my head off the wall. I'll help you get home. That's on me, that's on me, I know. That's on me, that's on me, it's on my fault.
Interesting. That was track number 9. That's On Me. Interesting sort of guitar licks there. Very much like an indie rock vibe. Not a bad song. It's interesting. The singing is both great and not great at times. I mean, because it's just so hard to sort of pick out. And I think that's probably is a style that he's sort of gone for on this album as well. But on some record as well, it just kind of makes it much hard to sort of pinpoint exactly what he's sort of trying to communicate. But then again, I believe with more listens, then it will be much easier to just get to the point of what he's talking about as well. But it seems like he's accepting some sort of thing that's sort of gone wrong and saying, you know, that is on me. I mean, again, with the lot of the records on this album as well, the track title and the chorus are quite simplistic, and it's easy to sort of understand, and that also is coupled in with the production as well, and that makes it also a very pleasant experience to listen to. And at times when like good news just sort of happens, it is fantastic. Do you get me? Because the reference and the lyrics match together and the production, and you get a complete gist by just listening to the first time. But then there can be issues like for what I'm having right now, where or another record which I think was called, I can't remember exactly the name of the song, but where I thought there wasn't a strong correlation between the verses and what it was saying, or what he was necessarily talking about didn't have a much big resonance as well. So I feel like that's what's going on with That's On Me. But then again, this is just the first listen, so I probably would have to listen to it more and sort of challenge my initial first listen, my first perception of that record. But it's not bad. I love the guitars as well. I love certain records, certain elements of the record, but not bad. Next track is track number 10, and it's called Hands. Let's see what this is about.
Why don't you just way to break your glass knees? Yeah, don't need no chauffeur, fuck the backseat. No, I stay behind the wheel and never have speed. Get the fuck out of my car, this ain't a taxi. No, I stay behind the wheel and never have speed.
That was track number 10, called Hands. I love the sort of little bells, those little sort of bells, and the live production as well that obviously flow through this entire album is quite nice as well. But especially on that record, it's just quite nice to sort of hear that loud the live production is sort of coming out to you with those beautiful little bells and details. And his flow again, brilliant as well. And the lyrics sounds very good and sounds very interesting. You know, I think he's talking about, you know, like, you know, again, I believe from the track from Woods up until Hands, I'm starting to try to get the gist of it. It is about love, and, you know, especially about, you know, the issues that comes up in a relationship, the issues when you know, the issues with the significant other. And with Hands, there's interesting references. I believe it said, knock me, like if you knock me down off my high horse, I'll end up sort of falling down and then breaking down as well. More interesting lines and lyrics. I'm liking it. I'm liking this record. It's a very much a devil in a blue dress vibe. When Kanye is talking about the relationship with this person and things have kind of gone completely south, and, you know, yeah, it's very much like commenting on this record, specifically Mac Miller commenting from that sort of standpoint. And yeah, interesting. Next is track number 11 called Assert.
Where are you going? You're not come to. The world is open in the clouds. Don't need to be lower before it's all over. I promise we'll figure it out. I ain't coming down. Why would I need to? No, we try. And the days they go by until we get home. That's what we need today.
Okay. Hey guys, that was track number 11, Surf. I mean, very nice, very nice, very nice. I mean, a lot of these records have those sort of like, what can I say? Those instrumental section or those like little nice sort of spaces within a record as well. And I think that ties in very much well with what he's actually saying. It kind of gives, again, like I think I've referenced or said this already earlier, it gives his words, you know, as some sort of like, you know, the platform for us as a listener sort of to ponder and to think. And yeah, again, Surf is very much also, I believe, is also like a, you know, relationship standpoint record with some of the lines that he's referencing and you know, some of the things that he's actually saying. And I love the singing. I love the verses, the lines, and the production. I'm getting a small gist of what he's saying, and the reference is not all of it. I need to listen to it a bit more to get to the full gist of what he's saying. But again, I want to understand a highlight, of course, this beautiful like electric guitar that just sort of pops out of nowhere, but just perfect in that way, you know, to add the little difference and little spice with the record as well. So very nice record as well, and very contemplative, even in its funkiness. Mac Miller is also mentioning the female as her also sort of dreaming, her sort of being sort of spaced out and not being present in the moment. This is quite interesting as well. That he actually mentioned that as well on the record as well. This female, maybe suffering the same thing that he's suffering from, but suffering from, and they're both not being present in the relationship due to whatever that may be. It was very interesting, very interesting. Maybe that's why things, or possibly things are kind of going south. A lot of question marks, but obviously I need to listen to it, or I need to listen to it more to sort of understand. But yeah, last record is number 12, Once a Day. Let's see how the last record of the album sounds.
Once a day I fall asleep with you. Once a day I wonder if they ever even cared at all. I wonder, do they see their own reflection in the waiting for another open door to come up soon? Don't keep it all in your head, but every now and again, why can't we just be fine? Once a day I ride.
Last record, Once a Day. Interesting song. Definitely a complete down tempo from the Surf record as well. Much more. Again, the tone level has definitely shifted down as well. It's quite surprising that it will go down, you know, lower to this level as well. But again, it sort of ties in very much with the album as a whole in terms of its theme, and also in terms of its sonic, what's it called? In terms of you know, how some of the records sound on this album as well. It's also, you know, about taking your time and again not rushing things and being steady with it. It is quite interesting as well, but I would think I was probably, you know, expecting something a little bit more, a little bit different. I'm not quite sure exactly what I was expecting, you know, but interesting ending to what I think is a good album. I like it. It sounds very good. Of course, there were certain records that I thought initially, or in the mid section of it, was this a little bit dull or had good elements to it as well. But then, of course, you know, it had some amazing records, or records that I think it's brilliant as well. I think I've already mentioned it earlier on that it is quite easy to listen to. It's easy to sort of comprehend. The production is both good, it is catchy, it is varied, and it's quite poignant. Like it gives me, or it pushes me to want to go search out and try to understand exactly what he's saying, and you know, what he's saying, from what perspective he's sort of coming from as well. And I like an album that does all of those things as well, and that's why on a first listen, it sounds to me like a very good album, and a good an album that I would definitely want to listen to more. And it's not so different from, it's different from what Mac Miller has done, but obviously the sort of hip hop funk sound that he had been using in his other album definitely does you know, come up in this, or is part and parcel of this album as well. So a bit of something and also something new, but I like it. I like it. I think it is a very good album. Yeah, guys, that was my first listen of Mac Miller's Circles album. Guys, what is your thoughts about this album? Did you guys like this album? Did you hate this album? Why did you hate it? Or why did you hate some parts of the album? And why did you like some parts of the album? Why did you like the whole album? Please leave a comment down below and tell me exactly why, because it's always interesting to hear other people's opinion, and also other people's bits and pieces that they sort of got that are probably was missed. So yeah, fill me in down on the comment section below. And guys, please check out our playlist. We have many records that sounds quite, you know, that has similar influences to this album that we have heard here as well. And guys, be safe, and we will be back with more content very soon. Thank you all for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Guys, have a nice day.